So next is selection of lamps and luminaires. So after we had done the basic understanding, requirement of lux level, what would be the area, now we have to select the lamps and luminaires as well as the drivers. So what is the best way to do that? So we can broadly categorize our lighting into two parts on broad classification. One can be indoor, the second can be considered as outdoor. So in outdoor also you can broadly classify into general area lighting, road lighting, specific lighting, and in indoor also we can specify to our requirements. So if it is a building lighting, it would be building. If it is a substation, it would be substation. If it is a process plant, it would be a process unit. If it is a warehouse, the requirement will be based on warehouse requirement. So based on that, we can select our lamps and luminaires. So let us take the example of a simple road lighting, which is very important. So nowadays we are mostly using LED light emitting diodes, which has almost obsoleted all the earlier mercury vapor, sodium vapor lamps which we used to lit up our road lighting 5-6 years back. So the light fixtures for road lighting are usually mounted either on a pole or a street lighting dedicated pole. So if it's a 6-meter wide road, so we would be requiring a 10-meter high pole with a 150 watt either HPSV or a LED light requirements. So how these calculations are done? These are done on a thumb rule purpose. So usually what we have to see is basically if the road is 5 meter, 10 meters, 12 meters wide. So based on that we have to go for a calculation. We have to check that whether 10 to 15 lux is the standard requirement for a street light. So whether with a particular spacing and a particular height with a particular light fixture, I am able to achieve that 15 lux on both side of the road shoulder or not. So on a standard purpose, these are thumb rule, but we have to again cross verify with these particular things with respect to our project requirement in the calculation part. So for a standard 6-meter wide road with 10-meter high pole, 150 watt LED light fixture would suffice the requirement of that purpose. So if it's a 12-meter road wide, then 10-meter high pole, 150 watt, but we have to provide it on the both sides for the 15 watt light requirements. So road with central requirements, so double bracket pole on the verge. So the road where we travel, one is this one way and another is the return way. So in that roads, in the middle portion, the double bracket poles are provided with the LED light fixtures on tall lighting poles. So let's say if we take the example of a tank storage area or a tank farm area. So usually what we can do, we can provide a 30-meter high mast. So that high mast will have a multiple light fixture of 250 watt, 400 watt HPSV or LED, and that can provide you the area illumination or general plant illumination. But if you have to have a specific lighting on the platform for access and maintenance of the tanks, so in that case we have to provide dedicated light fixtures on the staircase of the tanks or on the landing platform and the walking platform of the tank farm. So lighting, these are all the thumb rules that we are discussing, but definitely based on the project requirement, based on the actual design requirement, the lighting design will vary time to time and from site conditions to site conditions. Now if we have to see for a process unit, so as I said, in process unit also nowadays every light fixtures is lit up through LED light fixtures instead of mercury vapor and sodium vapor or fluorescent lamps. So the mounting type can be considered based on the actual site installation conditions. It can be bracket type, handrail, pole mounted or suspended. So it totally depends on the installation and how we can achieve the lux level requirement as per the requirement with minimum number of light fixtures. So that should be always in the intent of our lighting design. So in general mounting height, if we have to lit up LED or HPMV light fixture, so 125 watt LED light fixture can be fixed for a height up to 5 meters, and if your height is from 5 to 9 meter, it has to be a 250 watt, and if it's above 9 meter, then it has to be a Ideally, it should be a high bay light fixture with a wattage rating of close to 400 watt. Again, this varies from purpose to purpose and from plant design to plant design. So we have to see the actual design of our plant, and based on that we have to take a call that what would be the light fixture wattage requirement with its mounting configuration. So for plant buildings, indoor buildings, substation and control rooms, we usually do it with LED and fluorescent lamps. Air compressor house, fire water pump house through either HPMV, LED or fluorescent light fixtures. So here is a brief table of selection of lamps and luminaries. So on the first column, we have mentioned the lamp type. The second column represents lumen per watt. It is technically specified or mentioned as luminous efficacy. So it's the efficacy means the lumen output per watt of the light fixture. So a good light fixture or a LED light fixture gives a lumen output close to 30 to 90 depending upon its rating and configuration. Color rendering means the actual color that we can see based on the light requirement. So the actuality of a particular object can be seen through this color rendering, which is called the CRI index, which we'll be seeing in the forthcoming slides. So Edison bulb, which was very earlier introduced, had a lumen efficacy of 10, but it had a color rendering index of 100, that is maximum. Integrated CFL lamps, which we used in our house earlier days, had a luminous efficacy of 50 and its CRI index was around 80 to 89. Non-integrated CFLs had a luminous efficacy of 80 and CRI index was close to 80 to 89%. So the 4 feet tube light which we used in our earlier houses had a luminous efficacy of 68 and the color rendering index was about 54, which is quite low. So 54% means the actual color we will not be able to see, and we can only see 54% of the actual color of the object. Tri-band phosphor tube light, which we used in earlier projects, had luminous efficacy of 93 and color rendering index of 80 to 89%. T5 fluorescent tube light, 5 feet fluorescent tube lights had a luminous efficacy of 100 with a CRI index close to 86. Metal halides had a luminous efficacy of 80 to 87 with CRI index reaching to 89 to 95%. HPSV lamps had a luminous efficacy of 105 to 135 and color rendering index was very low, which was 23. So the yellow colored lights which we see still in some of the street lights are all HPSV, high pressure sodium vapor lamps. So everything we see is yellowish. So the color rendering index in this case is extremely poor, as we would not be able to trace or identify the actual color of the particular object that is being lit up by the particular light fixtures. So if we are looking for a color rendering index, HPSV is definitely the worst selection that we would be doing. So we should not be selecting HPSV in that case. LEDs, as I discussed earlier, had a luminous efficacy of 30 to 90, close to 100 also many manufacturers are offering nowadays. And color rendering index is 70 to 90, which varies from manufacturers to manufacturers.